Right, oh, yeah.
Maybe it's me.
That's okay, let me get it out. So
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. If you can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Commissioner Winkie, will you lead us in prayer, please?
Sure. Let's bow our heads. Lord, we come to you tonight and ask for your presence in this room with us. We ask for unity amongst the commission. Not that we would all think alike, but Lord, that we would be able to still be kind to one another and work as a team. I just pray over the staff that you'd bless them. Pray over the first responders that you'd keep them safe. And also, Lord, that you would bless their families and give them peace. And I just pray over tonight that you would give us your wisdom, Lord. Pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, roll call, Mr. Rhodes.
Commissioner Mullins.
I'm present.
Commissioner Boring. Commissioner Wiki.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Harrington.
Here.
Commissioner Abs.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Vice Mayor Burr.
Here.
Mayor Perez.
Here. Moving on with the agenda, under proclamations and presentations, we have none. Moving on to the visitor section, if there's any visitor that would like to make a public comment for items not listed on the agenda, please come to the podium. I see none. Moving on with the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
So we have motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next on the agenda is the unfinished business. We have a recycling services update. Mr. Andrew Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. So at our previous commission meeting, the commission discussed options moving forward regarding provisions for curbside recycling. As part of that discussion, you'd asked us to prepare a draft ordinance for providing a curbside recycling program in the city. That was included in your packet. I can go over that briefly here in a minute. That draft ordinance would be designed to serve the same properties as the current curbside recycling program, and to be paid, and for the cost to be paid via a fee charged to property owners. So that was one of several options we looked at during the last meeting. I tried to outline them as best I could in the manager's report, and in no particular order. One option would be entering into a stopgap one-year contract with Borden under the current funding mechanism. That would be with city supplementing the funds that were not unable to be raised by the current funding mechanism, which can be up to $25 a year, which is currently billed at $2 per month or $24 a year. We discussed that option paired with further commission action or potentially a referendum vote on an ordinance moving forward. So that would either be commission choosing to adopt an ordinance in the future or putting it forward as part of a referendum vote. Another option that was considered was passing such an ordinance with the ratepayers paying the cost of recycling. Currently, we've talked about how those would be structured a number of ways, whether that would be like a 1 year to initially gauge citizen reaction to the program, followed by bidding out on a 3-year schedule or longer, as we had in the past for curbside recycling. That obviously was key to the ordinance that was provided in the packet. Another option that was discussed was letting the existing contract end on December 31st and pair that with further commission action or a referendum vote on an ordinance moving forward. That was another option that was presented. Also, we discussed, just as has been programmed in the budget currently, letting the existing contract end on December 31st and ending curbside recycling services. And then the final option would be directing staff to develop a program for recycling drop-off services utilizing our existing funding mechanism. I can talk briefly about the ordinance, and then I want to speak a little bit to some things that we learned following up with Borden since the last meeting, because there were a few things I think I mentioned that were, left a little less clear than I would prefer as we continue these discussions. So the ordinance, first draft was put together by the city attorney, worked on tweaking it a little bit. Basically, this sets up our ability to have a program, charge the fee for the program, and then also require participation. I note that there's probably a tweak that needs to be made in section, what I'm identifying, or what the draft identifies as section 42-54A. It refers to single-family dwellings. That probably needs to be tweaked to be similar to what's in section B, which talks about all properties that serve at least one dwelling unit within the city limits. So if you look at that, the definitions of dwelling unit, residential unit, and even large multifamily dwelling are designed to mimic our current curbside recycling program, whereby each dwelling unit, there's a schedule for how many recycling units or residential units it counts for, and that equates to how many recycling bins you receive under the program. So currently, if you have 1 to 3 dwellings, it's considered a residential unit. So that would be all single-family homes, duplexes, triplexes. They're considered one residential unit. They receive one recycling container. They pay the fee for one recycling container. And then on that schedule, it goes up from there. So Ken, if you want to roll up to the definitions so that we can kind of show that schedule for everybody down a little bit. So that's the schedule as it is included in our current recycling contract. I would also note that we had not, under the current program, provided recycling units to any of the residences in downtown, even though some of those are under 24 dwellings. I think we would probably try and, we'd have to make a decision about whether we would want to extend that. It's a little bit difficult in downtown to kind of account for the recycling containers, or whether we would choose to exclude certain residential units specifically in the core downtown and downtown buildings. They're currently not charged for those units, nor do they receive recycling services. So that was another thing as I was rereading for tonight that came to my mind. Provision of the service, we do discuss that they would be provided for either by way of city staff or contracted services. I think that by and large, I see no current universe in which we would provide it via city staff, but we left a provision in there for a future commission to decide if they wanted to take that on themselves rather than contract it out, that would be in there. So if it's in there and you're questioning why, that's why. It's more to provide the broadest possible means for a future commission or city to provide the services if necessary. Again, the service area provisions under 42-54 are all designed to mimic what we currently do. Collection, basically, we would leave that up for guidelines to be amended in the future as necessary. Probably be something that we would always work out with whoever's providing our contracted services to us. So again, trying to provide as flexible an ordinance as possible for future changes. The fee, basically, we would establish a fee. It would be charged to each dwelling unit receiving service under the program. The amount would be established annually based on projected costs. Obviously, this would, under a contracted service scenario, that would be directly attributable to what we're paying in the contracted service. There would be an annual review of the fee to make necessary adjustments as needed. And then billing and collection would be pursuant to our existing code of ordinances related to utilities. under Section 2-302 of the City Code of Ordinances. We provide a enforcement and penalty section, and then the expiration piece tweaked for it to be a year-over-year renewal of the ordinance and the program, with the exception of providing the commission the option to extend it multiple years if there's a multiple-year service contract. So if we decide to go out for a 5-year service contract for recycling services, or a 3-year, we can extend the program and ordinance so as to provide clarity to the contractor that this program will exist the full term of the contract we're agreeing to. Versus every year, you know, a commission would have the option to torpedo that contract, which we had already signed and guaranteed for 5 years. So, or 3 years, or whatever the period would be. So trying to find a way to kind of structure that, and there may be some more work we need to do on the exact verbiage of that if the commission wishes to move forward. So that's a nutshell what's in the recycling ordinance. I mean, I think the key thing to know about implementing this ordinance in whatever way we did it, whether it was commission voting on it, taking it to a prospective vote in the future, is that this would, as structured now, mandate participation of all residences as described in the ordinance. So basically, anybody with a residential property of 1 to 24 units would be mandated to participate in the program and pay the fee. They would obviously also receive the service, but if they chose not to use the service, they could not opt out of the service. So I want to be clear that that's what's being discussed by the ordinance and how it's structured currently. And I would say that likely that is the only way a curbside program is going to work here, because if it's purely residential option, I don't know that the volume would be enough to attract a service provider to provide service to the community. Along those lines, want to just discuss kind of the results of our further discussion with Borden. So the first thing, if you recall, we had gotten a range of between $7 and $8 for what the 1-year contract would be. In clarifying with Borden, they believe it would be on the $8 end of the range, previously provided not $7. In discussing with them why that cost was elevated, a lot of it had to do with the fact that, you know, if there's containers that need to be replaced or fixed or anything along those lines, those costs, they typically would spread, you know, they assume a certain amount of cost to that, they spread it over a number of years. If it's 1 year, they're having to condense some of those costs into 1 year. So that was at least part of the reasoning behind that. I assume that there's other factors, but that was the main one that they discussed with us. As a stopgap, if you're looking at the $8 end of the range, you're talking an additional $172,000 in fiscal year 25-26. I think it was obviously under that when we looked at the $7 scenario. That's if we charge the max resident fee of $25 under the current funding mechanism. It would be a total of $250,000 of total obligation to get us through December of 2026. And obviously the remainder of that would have to be budgeted in the next fiscal budget. For residents, if you charged it to residents at $8, it would be a total annual amount of $96, which is $72 more than what they paid under the current scenario. Also wanted to clarify with Borden, I believe I mentioned last time, they had said that they would likely not be providing recycling services in the area if we were not active in a program. I was trying to get clarification of whether that included their own customers for trash. They indicated that yes, it would include their own customers for trash, that they would be pulling out of the area completely for recycling services. Based on other research that we've done previously, they were the only one providing any such service. I know that Waste Management provides that service in other communities, but I expect, much like Borden, we're the edge of their service territory, and they probably would not be offering that service unless they could guarantee sufficient participation to justify sending a truck our way. So, I believe that more than likely, we would end up with no option for curbside recycling services going forward. So that's kind of my overview. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have at this point.
Any questions for Andrew?
Yeah. So under the enforcement penalties, does that mean if we don't recycle, we have to pay $100?
No, no.
Does that mean that according to, where was it? 4254D, the materials, all recycled materials shall be clean and sorted according to guidelines established by the director. Does that mean if I got a dirty peanut butter jar in there, it's gonna be $100 fine?
I would
Or a
say that what we
Greasy pizza
probably,
box sticking out?
I mean, what I would suggest is that if you consistently abused your recycling container, so for example, we've had people that have put trash bags in recycling containers, constantly fouled their recycling materials such that we were somehow charged by Borden for a trash load, that would be when we would choose to enforce that provision. But if you left a peanut butter container with a little bit of peanut butter in there, I'm guessing Borden's never gonna say anything to us and we're not gonna ticket anybody for that.
Yeah, that's not what this says. Okay, that's it.
Any other questions for Andrew? Do you need any direction from us?
I do.
Well, because
I need direction.
last I knew, the direction was that you were gonna do an ordinance, so.
When we
That
presented,
we've
we
done.
presented an ordinance,
And that
so the
we've done,
question
so-
is this something that you want us to move forward with? Or how, what is the wish of the commission for proceeding?
Andrew, did you touch base on the dumpsters type scenario, drop-off containers?
I didn't touch base any more than that it's an option. I mean, I can if we, but I think that,
I was pretty certain we were gonna decide on the ordinance tonight, I mean, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, Commissioner Miller had an idea
What was your
last time around.
Well, yeah, to refresh, to kind of jump back to where we were last meeting and give a refresher. I had thrown out as an option, we're all rightly concerned about what our residents, who we all represent in different parts of the city, or in my case, the whole city, we're all concerned about making a decision that we feel they believe in, right? We all believe that, I think. And we've discussed up and down a referendum option. I think it's, don't want to put words in TJ's mouth, but I think it gets interesting if we go that route. I kind of think of what if we just passed an ordinance and put the ordinance on the voting block in August. Do you give this an up or down vote? Clerk Rose also mentioned the empty non-binding resolution. I think that also gave TJ issues. He didn't like that. He's saying that he doesn't like that.
That's not an option in Michigan, so we can't do an opinion poll.
And so I had then said, well, hey guys, we'll hear about it, and I believe we will. We're already hearing about recycling. If we put a 1 year, I said, let's try it for 1 year. The consequences are lower than a 3-year contract. Now, what I'm hearing from Andrew's update is that, the price of a 1 year contract is higher. So do you want to buy in bulk and go 3 years, or do you want to do a lower consequence, lower time bet on it and go 1 year? And I don't think there's a perfect answer, but what I said at the last meeting is we will hear in a year's time from residents, but the consequences for having paid a year, if that's what we do, will not be that great. But we will hear from residents in the meantime. And if there are 5 or more torches or pitchforks outside the city commission from January 1 December 31 next year, I will seriously reconsider my support of the recycling program. If there are 10 or more torches or pitchforks, you see my point. We're gonna see the feedback that we get, and we're gonna be able to make a decision accordingly. If there are a lot of torches and pitchforks, I'll probably throw in the towel. But we're gonna hear about it, whether there's a vote or not. So I know we all want to hear feedback and see numbers. I think we're going to see pretty effective feedback and go with the non-vote option. We're going to hear the feedback ourselves. We're going to be able to determine on pretty sure footing what the feedback is and what the residents like or don't like. That's kind of what I had pointed out. Thank you, Commissioner Wiki. That's kind of what I pointed out last meeting, given what Attorney Reed was saying about some of the voting options and how those are troublesome and present us with other challenges. We don't necessarily have to have a referendum. We're all going to hear about it. We've already been hearing about it. I still hear about recycling.
And remind me, if we do do an ordinance tonight, if in August we have a vote as to thumbs up or down on the current ordinance that we
Only
is
pending
that
the-
still,
It's
is that
kind of
still,
I mean, yeah, you're still asking for the vote. It would have to change this ordinance. We'd have to modify this ordinance if you were to vote because for the
we
concerns
could end it at the end of the contract period, right?
You could end it, I mean, the way this is written, you have the option every August to renew, well, you have to renew every August, this ordinance.
So
Otherwise
it
goes
really
against
put it to an annual. I
Correct. Now, what this does allow is if you choose for a longer-term contract, you would also have the ability to extend the ordinance for the term of that contract, essentially.
So I will offer up my opinion that, given the price update that Andrew is giving us now, I would be in favor of the lesser price buy in bulk option of 3 years. But if the rest of the commission is not comfortable with that and wants a lower consequence on the amount of time, even though it's costing more per year, I'm in support of the year option too. And it's a low consequence. Yes, it's a price increase, but we can hear about it and we can scrap it at the end of next year if it's so bad that we're hearing about it far and wide that the price increase is not worth it.
Do I understand, right, Andrew, that we still can end it before the 3 year? Did I understand that correctly? There is an opt-out if you needed to?
Not in the contract
Oh, I thought we
necessarily.
had an opt-out.
Yeah,
We
no,
don't.
I mean, I would say that if I'm bored and if we go into this with the idea that we're opting out in a year, or that's like, then they're gonna say,
That's just
well,
gotta
then
be a
it's
one-year
year, it's a
contract.
year.
I just thought in
Contract
our
is a
current
contract.
one, we had an opt-out.
Yeah,
Possibly.
no, the question was asked, but I don't think
Okay.
there was any.
It was asked, all right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to propose we let the existing contract end on December 31st until we have a referendum vote. And that is a proposal.
Okay, is that a motion?
That's a motion.
December 31st, 25?
Yep.
are we sure that Borden will still be around by the time we had a referendum then?
That would be, I would say that based on, I mean, the only danger to that is they may not bid if we say that we have a referendum and we want it going forward, they may say we're out and we're not coming back. It's a risk. I'm not saying they've said that. There's no guarantee that they would bid again. That would be the only thing I would say, based on what they told us about their intentions for recycling in the area.
Well, right now, they're the only game in town. They leave, somebody's gonna step up.
We don't know it.
We don't know they won't either. Then it would make sense that they would.
Okay, so we have a motion.
I have a few questions before we entertain a motion. I wasn't here the last meeting, and I appreciate Aaron, Commissioner Miller, for filling me in as well. What you were proposing was one of two options. If we do the stopgap for 1 year,
not a stopgap, we just set out on the ordinance.
Yep.
My
and
point
at
was
the
just
city's
that-
expense.
No, at the, no. At
No,
the-
this
That's
is charging,
the-
this is
that's
charging.
the
That was
stopgap.
not,
We
that
would-
was
we would-
another option, but that was not Aaron's option. That
Okay.
was not Commissioner Miller's
Just
option.
trying to make sure who was saying what here. There's a couple things I don't know, is you talk about the one-year option being $7, $8, closer to $8 per. What, was there numbers? I didn't hear numbers from you explaining anything for a multi-year contract cost.
So the multi-year contract, which we got the bids
Yeah, we
for
already got
back in,
those.
in July, was $6 for the first year, and there was
Oh, it's from before,
escalators.
same,
Yeah,
same as it was before?
that's the only numbers we have on that, and I would assume they would hold those numbers for us.
Okay, so there's nothing new on it.
Correct.
Okay. Another thing I heard was putting it to a vote in August. Are there other things going to be on the ballot in August for the city here?
It's a statewide
For the
election.
city, nothing necessarily for the city.
But that is a.
That's a
statewide
Yeah.
election. It's a statewide
Okay,
Yeah, it'll be the
okay,
primary.
It's not a special thing we'd have to.
And just full
But
disclosure,
TJ's not in favor of that.
I don't think it changes anything, but the election could go from August to May or June. The legislature's talking about that. Again, it doesn't really change anything, but it does.
They
It's out
always
there.
wanna do that.
We'll see.
But the referendum, TJ's not in favor of.
We could figure something out. It's not the preferable route to go. The preferable route would be for the commission to pass an ordinance to give the commission in the future full control of how this works so that it's more dynamic. Once you start putting it to the vote, it becomes a little bit more cumbersome to get out of it and amend it if the prices get, get pretty high. And again, I have no idea where they're gonna go, but I always think worst case scenario that if they go from $8 to $16 at one point, the commission needs to be able to act and act fast, so.
It was not advised,
Yeah, yeah.
the
no.
referendum option.
Okay. So very little has changed in what I knew already, I guess, from what was discussed last week, besides the adopt, or not adoption, but the creation of this ordinance that's being presented to us tonight.
I think the biggest change or the biggest discussion that this commission had was moving away from stopgap as a preferred option and
Okay.
moving towards adopting the ordinance.
So the question I have then is, if we were to adopt an ordinance, what kind of time frame does that have? How long would that take for the adoption of the ordinance? If we were to have consensus tonight,
Right,
direction to move forward with this.
right. So I think we would hold first reading at the second October meeting, second reading, first November meeting. There would be a 20-day waiting period to ensure no one wanted a referendum on it. The ordinance would become effective, and depending on how the timing of that worked out, one of the 2 December meetings, we would
Okay.
agree
So
to a
prior to the
contract.
expiration of the
There's
ordinance.
time.
contract.
Prior to,
There's
yes.
time to get
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Correct.
I would also be in favor of the ordinance. Again, with discussion with the commission on whether we want to just try it for a 1 year first with Borden to see how much kickback we get from residents, that kind of thing. I kind of feel like we wouldn't have a ton. But going the cheaper option with the multi-year, it's 6 versus 8, or whatever that number might be, dollars per household. That's a question that needs to be answered, but I'm certainly in favor of supporting keeping recycling in town as opposed to letting it expire December 31st and having them leave town and having questions later on down the road as to whether we can get them or anyone else back in town to collect.
And I guess clarify further, since we're doing $24 per resident right now, the increase wouldn't be $96.
Correct.
The increase would be $72.
$72.
And that's all the, again, the consequence. I'm not saying $72 is $0, but the consequence is just a 1 year, that's what we sign up for, and we'll hear about it.
Okay, question.
I was just going to say, as someone who has never been in favor of many ordinances, I still say, that my feeling is from the input I've had, there are many more who are in favor of it than not. It's a guess at this point. If indeed we put it in place and we have a first reading and a second reading, if we do a really good job of trying to get it out to the public, I'm guessing we could have some people here at that first reading or second reading
I'm guessing
say,
you're
hey,
Yeah.
you guys are off. I'm not, yeah, exactly, I'm not paying $72 a year for it.
I agree.
If we go to the 3-year.
72 more.
Yeah, no, not if we go 3-year.
Oh,
If we go to,
gotcha,
no,
gotcha,
right,
gotcha.
it'll be 72 total
It's
versus
true,
the
but if
24.
we, if after the end of the year, we do a 3-year contract, we might dial down in price. We don't know.
We're paying 46 more.
Just keep in mind, the previous bid, was it a 3% increase? So,
Year after year.
Year over
yeah,
year.
so
Year over year.
it goes from $6 to, what's that, $6.18 to, you know, so.
Right,
So
right.
with that price increase, I am in favor, leaning more towards the 3 than I was at our prior commission meeting. I was leaning towards the 1. But
Fine,
now I'm
fine,
leaning towards
both.
3 just for the cost.
Commissioner Wiki.
Andrew, is there, I'm still really wanting to put it into the citizens' hands as much as possible. Is there a way to, like if we did the 1-year option, when we're getting towards the end of the 1 year, to do like a mail-in poll situation, like whether they would want to keep it or not?
I mean, we can always do a citizen survey if that's what
Survey.
the commission wants to do. I mean, the only, I mean, I guess any vote or anything is somewhat self-selecting when it comes to that, but you are, you know, a informal poll is a little bit different than a vote. I mean, just
So
in terms
is that
of
an
the-
option though? Like,
It's always an option. That's something that
because
we can do.
then at
independently.
least the citizens that want to have a voice will have a voice, and then we.
I mean, the question, I mean, it would be on the commission at that point to make it binding. It wouldn't be like the vote is binding. You would have to decide
Right.
how much you value that information based on response rate, based on everything that came with it. But
It's outside information just as much as if the Our Sturgis community page caught on fire over it, you know.
Well, we
It's
all
outside
have,
information.
we all have emails listed. We all have a phone number that you can leave, they can leave a message, preferably
right.
identifying themselves so we know they're Sturgis residents, that they have that anytime to
And-
contact us and vote.
Well,
It's-
I've only been
Say yea or nay.
contacted one time about this, and it was for somebody who said they did not want recycling.
You know, I've had more no than support, so I would be a
I've had-
no based on my dealings with the public.
Well, and as Commissioner Harrington is talking, that lends to Commissioner Abbott's point that, well, if we did move forward with an ordinance, we'd have 2 opportunities for the public to show up here to give their opinion as well. And that could be a strong showing.
I personally am not willing to put another tax, because don't kid yourself, just because you call it a fee or whatever you want to call it, government charges you money, it's a tax. And I'm not willing to tax the people without their input.
So we did have a motion. So I'll bring that back. We're done talking. There's a motion. The wish of the commission.
there's a
We need
motion,
a
needs a second.
Yeah, I mean,
Repeat the motion.
That we
Please.
let it expire until further, what was that called? Referendum of the people.
Question first. So if this gets support and we vote on it, then we can still discuss another option and have another motion and vote on that, correct?
Yeah.
If it were to fail, yes.
If it were to fail.
If it were to fail.
Yeah,
then
oh
we
yeah, if it were
We
to
can
fail.
keep going until we're tired of, or something gets, okay.
We got that in a second.
Already tired.
But you
Just
know,
remember, every motion deserves a
yeah,
second.
okay. Just wanted
don't
to
have to vote
clarify
on
that. Yes, okay.
I can't, I don't think I can, so.
So we have support, yes?
No.
No.
Well, then I'll
Not yet.
support.
Okay.
So we have a motion and support. Roll call.
Who supported?
Harrington,
Commissioner Harrington.
just typing that in. All right. All right, roll call. So, yes, if you vote yes, yay, then you are in support of ending the contract at the end of 2025 and not beginning again until a referendum vote. Commissioner Wiki,
No.
Commissioner Miller,
No.
Commissioner Boring, Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
No.
Commissioner Abs,
No,
Commissioner Harrington,
No?
Vice Mayor Burr,
No.
and Mayor Perez.
Yes.
Okay. So that's 6 to 2. Nays over, so it's defeated. So
So now we're
Square one.
moving on to the ordinance. What's the wish of the commission?
Do we buy in bulk or do we buy the year?
Well, if we're voting for the ordinance, we also have to vote for contract length,
No.
or would that be appropriate?
No, that's already-
Two separate issues?
I mean, two separate issues.
Okay.
I think that, you know, one, what I would be looking for tonight would be direction to bring back a first reading. Unless you want to do a first reading tonight, you can, as it sits, but I would recommend we bring back a first reading next meeting. And then I would want, well, you can act on that separately. At some point, we are going to need to discuss if this is moving forward, how you want to bid out the service provision. Because we need to either bid out
That
one-year
was gonna be my
contract or
question.
three-year
Okay.
contract again, or confirm the three-year contract.
We can kick off the ordinance tonight if the commission votes that way. And we would give you consensus on whether we want a 1 or 3 year contract by the time the ordinance is up for
I
third
would say
reading?
at the same time, if we approve the second reading, I would want
Second
some-
reading,
By
okay.
second reading, okay.
Yeah,
And
So we get
that would
some-
give us the first
we get to
reading
sleep on it.
Get input from people.
correct.
And
we
get
might
input.
get more
to the
input,
first
yeah.
reading. Okay.
Yeah, we might get more input.
I would be a yes if we're talking 1 year, because then that gives,
Well, we're just talking
We're not
ordinance
talking
right now.
about-
So the,
I-
the way the ordinance is structured is it doesn't speak in terms of the
Correct.
contract.
Of a length.
correct.
It allows for flexibility, either it has to be renewed each year unless a multi-year contract is put in place, then it must be renewed by October 1st of the year in which that contract expires. So tonight, so the way the ordinance is, it gives the commission flexibility at a later date, so if you pass it, you could have then deliberations whether you want a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year contract, to give the city manager direction, or whomever, here I think they call him director again. You're welcome. Moving forward on that, when he sends out bids, how you want him to bid it. Do you want him to bid, how do you want to see the bid? So this allows for 1 to multi-year contracts. That's the ordinance itself. So that would be a vote for another day.
And you're
So,
saying
CJ.
by second reading is when you want.
No. Well, that's when he may need it. to
I
start
need it
putting
because
bids
I
out.
need to start putting bids out so that we can
Unofficial.
have
So-
everything.
So
in
teacher,
line,
we need a
especially
motion
if-
from those that support it to continue on with the city ordinance, correct?
Well,
Yes, and, well, you don't necessarily,
It doesn't necessarily need to be a vote, I just need either consensus direction to bring this back for a first reading at the next meeting. If you choose to make that a vote, you can do that as well. If you feel that it is
What's
not
the wish of
necessarily
the
gonna be
commission?
I'll make a
Yes,
motion
please.
that we direct city staff to, how do we put this?
prepare the ordinance.
Prepare the
For
ordinance
first reading.
For a first reading at the
October.
second October meeting and bring it back to the commission at that point in time.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. So moved. Thank you, Andrew.
Yes, thank you.
Moving on to new business, we have property transfer request, Mr. Barry Cox. Welcome, Barry.
Thanks, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. One of the local businesses, Metalloid Corporation, has requested that the city consider moving a piece of property that they have purchased into the city from Sturgis Township. It is part of a larger group of properties that they hope to build a new building at. This is in an area that is under the original Sturgis Township 425 agreement, which encompasses a very large area of property. It's not one of the amendments like the solar area or the I-9 corridor. There's been a number of other amendments. There may be another one here soon. This one, with the way that the 425 is structured, normally requires a 30-day waiting period before the governing body can take action on the request. The Metalloyd Corporation has submitted a letter that I think is in the packet. There it is. Requesting that 30-day period be waived in the hopes of furthering this project development along at a faster clip. Sturgis Township has already approved this resolution on Monday. And so it is before you this evening, and I can try to answer any additional questions regarding this process, or not really so much on the development part of it.
All right, any questions for Barry?
Any downside to the city?
What do we pay them 1.5 mils or something like that?
No downside.
So,
Just,
that,
I'll take
I
your
would
word.
concur with that, Commissioner.
more
There
taxes
is
for
no
the city.
downside.
any upside? No. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Expansion
Yes.
of a,
I looked up where it was, and I thought, oh, yeah, I've gone by that property many a time going the back way into Meyer. Yeah.
What's the wish of the commission? If there's no further questions for Barry.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission adopt the resolution transferring the property identified on Exhibit A and Exhibit C from Sturgis Township into the city as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
So
you.
moved. Thank you, Barry. Next on the agenda is the wastewater treatment plant primary clarifier number 2 bid. Welcome, Brandon.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. Tonight presenting the treatment plant primary clarifier number 2 replacement. This clarifier was installed in 1927. This is the oldest clarifier that we have at the plant that is still in service today. This clarifier operates in the primary process of the plant. There are 2 others, so it's in conjunction with 3, or there's a total of 3 primary clarifiers altogether. Number 1 is actually currently under install, the new mechanism, which was approved last year, so that's exciting news. So, but back to primary 2, the mechanism itself was replaced in 1964 during a SRF plant expansion project. Master Service Agreement Amendment number 1 was approved last October, and this was for F&B for design and bidding services. That was a total of $34,000. That was for fiscal year 24-25. So during their bidding or the design stages of the project, we realized that some of the estimates we were getting back were putting us outside of what we had in the capital budget. So we broke this project into three elements, pretty much. Basically, the base lump sum being the main driver is getting the drive mechanism itself replaced, utmost of importance. And then alternate one included the replacement of the steel scum baffle. This basically is just a steel plate that lines the perimeter of the plant or the clarifier itself, holding all the floating material into the center of it so it can be collected and removed. That was alternate 1. Alternate 2, that included replacing the existing clarifier launder and weirs. The launder is the outside, also is on the perimeter of the clarifier. It's where all the flow goes to, the clean water, if you want to call it, where it then flows on to further processes. So we published this project and we received 2 bids. Allied Mechanical Services was the low bid. Base lump sum $445,000. Alternate 1 was $30,000. Alternate 2 $115,000. So the total project cost was $590,000. Fiscal year 25-26 had $600,000 for the rebuild of the primary clarifier 2. There's cost and spread. No, that's the bid tab. There's a cost spreadsheet in your packet as well. So being we were able to surprisingly come in, I mean, like I said, we were kind of getting estimates outside of our range, but with us being within our budget, we were recommending that Allied Mechanical Services for alternates 1 and 2, so.
Does
Any
that come
questions?
with, I got a question for you. Does that come with a 98-year-old warranty on that?
I can ask. There's not many of those around anymore.
Just joking, Brandon.
Absolutely.
Any questions for Brandon? No?
I can appreciate the irony that it's clarifier number 2. That's all.
It's the wish of the commission.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the bid from Allied Mechanical Services for primary clarifier number 2 mechanism replacement, including alternates 1 and 2, in the amount of $590,000 as presented.
So the motion,
Support.
and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Have a good night. Next on the agenda is the fire department, bay flooring, Mr. Dan Rowe. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. Replacement of the apparatus bay flooring in the fire department or the Department of Public Safety, where all the fire trucks and all the ambulances park on a daily basis or in and out multiple times, was included as part of this current year's fiscal plan. The current floor coating that's installed was installed in 2010, and the layer below that was installed previously in 1996. A small section of the floor did have to be replaced due to cracking in the concrete below the surfaces, leading to some leaking down into the basement level, into the training area. Staff recruited assistance from floor coating specialists from Sherwin-Williams Corporation to develop a detailed scope for the removal of the existing flooring and the replacement of that. They determined that a 5-step coating process would best suit our needs, and with that, staff reviewed that scope of work and solicited bids on BidNet Direct on September 2nd. Bid opening was held on September 15th. One bid was received from Constantine Flooring Center in the amount of $53,983.40. This is actually below the budgeted amount of $70,000 that was included for this year. And staff would like to request an additional $5,000 over that $53,000 bid in the event that we do come on more. Constantine did include some crack filling, but just in case we run into any additional areas, so that we can include that and make sure that it's repaired correctly at that time.
Okay. Any questions for Dan?
I got some. So we use BidNet Direct, and we got one bid. Is that because nobody else knows? We don't put bids out anymore, we just put it on a website and people are supposed to know that, hey, today I'm going to check the website and see what's going on?
But I guess probably. I did have multiple emails from other contractors inquiring about the project. They just chose not to bid.
Are they local or?
No, they were not local.
Okay. Another question would be, so if you have the 70,000 budgeted and it's coming in at 53,000, why do you need the 5,000 contingency?
Well, because I'm asking you to approve the contracted amount, the proposed amount, plus an additional 5,000 in the event that we run into any contingent problems with the floor.
I wanna come back.
When the floor's exposed.
This is the same procedure
Yeah,
we
they
do
wanna
with
come back
any of
to
our
the
bids.
Even if it's without asking for contingencies though. No, we are.
We've
I know we do
regularly
contingencies
asked
on
for
projects we have.
contingencies for the last several years on projects.
Since the railroad incident, I believe, is when we started,
Oh, prior to that, I would
prior to
say.
that even,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
we've been doing
We've regularly tried to include contingency budgets in our.
on almost every expenditure.
I don't see a problem with the contingency. I mean,
I believe I heard you say, Dan, it's about, the contingency really is about the floor, that we've had problems with prior.
Yeah, once
That's
we
what
expose,
I thought I heard
the
you say.
concrete, we may find some more areas that
Right.
need additional work before we put the new floor coatings down. Correct.
about the floor.
The cracks in the floor.
I don't see a problem with a contingency.
Is that the question?
Yep.
Just curious, do you have any idea when the work will be started?
No, we'd like to get it done before cold weather strikes because it has to be done.
So that's a
before we
that's a possibility.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to Constantine about potential schedule yet, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the trucks have to be inside in the wintertime, because
True.
they all have
Okay.
water, so,
There's
yes.
like the
That would
next
make sense.
6 to 7 weeks before we really get the cold weather.
Yeah, unfortunately, everybody's,
Okay.
yeah, pending approval, I'll determine
Okay.
that as soon as possible. We'd like to do it this fall.
Any other questions for Dan?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the bid from Constantine Flooring Center in the amount of $53,983.40 for the replacement of the apparatus bay floor coating as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve a contingency in the amount of $5,000 for any unforeseen necessary repairs during the replacement of the apparatus bay floor coating.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Dan. Oh, wait, you're back up. Next on the agenda is the Sturgis Young Orchestra pit cover. Mr.
Thank
Brooke,
you.
Welcome back.
Thank you again. Again, included as part of the current year's fiscal budget, capital improvement plan was the purchase and installation of a removable pit cover or stage extension for the Sturgis Young Center for the Arts Theater. The orchestra pit cover will act as a fully functional stage and allow for loading and such. It'll maintain the same floor loads that the stage can maintain, basically. That it will also allow stage acts to be closer to the audience, making a considerably larger stage area. The plan, it can be removed. It's designed and engineered in such a way that it can be removed and disassembled and handled reasonably and stored. And in the event, like the High School Musical is pretty much the one time a year that the pit is being used, that pit cover would be removed at that time and stored. But generally, we would leave it in place throughout the season unless an act requested that it not be there. Staff contacted Stage Lighting and Sound, who has helped us out in many instances in sound and lights in the auditorium, to locate a vendor for this particular product. It is fairly uncommon. There are a few vendors that make them, but Stage Lighting and Sound recommended Stage Right Corporation from Clare, Michigan. In fact, they recommend them basically because they use them for all of their portable stage equipment and feel confident in the quality of the material. Staff contacted Stage Right directly to just inquire about a budget and able to give them rough dimensions of what we had. That's how our budget number was developed for the current fiscal year budget. Moving forward, if approved, the process and design would happen once Stage Right has been down, performed laser measurements of the area to be filled, and then they go to the design and engineering phase. Once that's completed, then they'll give us the firm number on the actual cost of the material. They're confident in their budget that they provide, but it just has to, they kind of have to go through all the processes. Cost for the laser measurement is around $4,000. Let's see. Also, SLS, Stage Lighting and Sound, is the local dealer or representative for Stage Right Corporation. In conversations with SLS and Stage Right, there was some costs that Stage Right included in their budget number to us that SLS is able to, like a delivery cost or freight cost from Clare to Sturgis, as well as the installation the professional, basically professional oversight of the initial installation. They don't actually do the installation, they just send somebody down to teach us how to do it. SLS offered for a month, probably about a $4,000 savings to come down and help us actually do the installation and go pick up the material and deliver it to the auditorium as well with their equipment. We budgeted $55,000 for the project. We're requesting that amount as a not to exceed for this. We don't feel like we're gonna be more around that $50,000 range when the project's all said and done, including the measuring and the design and engineering. Did speak to SLS also this week about lead time. Once the laser measurement is completed, the process is gonna take 6 months, about 6 months to get the new stage extension installed.
Well, then one of the benefits of you or someone seeing the installation is you'll have to know that information if you want to take it off.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that
we'll-
seems of a benefit to the Sturgis Young to have that knowledge here.
Yeah, we'll include all the staff, all this.
All the, just not the volunteers, please.
Any other questions for Dan?
Yeah, I definitely can see the benefit of being able to come out closer to the crowd. I guess my one question, all the lighting that's currently there is set up to be on the current stage. And so when you bring it out in front of that, the only thing that I could think of that would light that area would be the moving spotlight. Like, is there gonna be added cost of adding lights? I would think you'd have to.
That's a good question. We
You
didn't
know-
really give that much thought.
We are going to look at re-rigging, repainting.
Yeah, so,
And a lot of the lights do go up the runways, so I think it's definitely something that we can improve in front of the stage, along with the safety feature of being able to safely walk on the stage.
right, with house lights down, you're correct. Yeah, because coming up in the near future, Dan will be here to present the new drapery and curtains and we are gonna re-rig all of the lights and potentially, hopefully raise curtains so that some of the lights that are on the very front of the stage will be able to reach that area as well, so.
Great question. Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve a bid waiver for and the purchase of the orchestra pit cover from Stage Lighting and Sound in the not to exceed amount of $55,000.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the Housing Commission appointment, Mr. Kinrose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This one is fairly simple. As it said in the manager's report, the Sturgis Housing Commission, which is made up of 5 members, includes a person that lives at Maple Towers itself. They asked for some applications. The person that was there moved over to Thurston Woods, so they needed a new resident member. 2 people applied, 1 person pulled out, and Nicole Stewart remains. So then they recommend that she get appointed, so there we go.
Any questions for Ken?
Nope.
I move we appoint Nicole Stewart to the Sturgis Housing Commission as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Ken.
Sure.
Next on the agenda is Commissioner and staff comments, and we'll start with Ms. Holly Kaiser.
I don't have anything today.
Okay, Sadie, we haven't scared you away, so,
Still here.
all right.
I don't have anything for tonight.
Mr. Rhodes?
People have their absentee ballots, elections in November for the 911 millage continuation, so if you got any questions, we're happy to answer them, but it's a renewal of the 911 millage and in fact taking it down to 0.9 mils as opposed to 1, so pretty simple.
Nice. Dan, you have anything? Brandon? Nothing. Officer Craig? No, sir. Anything from the media? TJ?
Word of the day, scumbaffle.
Scumbag.
That
Learned
is a
something new
good
from
word.
Brandon back there.
And Brandon, we do have video capabilities, so if you want to bring a video next time, we can put that up there.
guys want a video, I'm more than
Better than an on-site tour.
Andrew?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Several things tonight. First, something that the mayor and I have discussed is commission goal setting. So we previously looked during the budget process a little bit at our goals and objectives as we kind of come to the end of a commission season and we get into the next organizational meeting. Looking at moving forward in next budget season, doing goal setting a little bit different, and trying to get some commission prioritization of goals, things to work on that are tied to fiscal year, what would be fiscal year 26-27's budget process, but it kind of leaves us with a gap here in fiscal year 25-26. So wanted to try and advance that, and we're hoping to have the commission think about some goals within the current budget. So keeping in mind what we've budgeted for the year, what projects are on the docket for the year, the things that we've committed to, some goals that you'd like to see looked at. We would take these probably in a meeting in November, do a work session, do a little bit of prioritization of those goals to come up with kind of a general commission consensus of things to look at and work on over the next year. I think we talked about, hopefully commission can do between 3 and 5 goals and have those presented back to the mayor or to myself by the end of the month. And then we would again look at doing a work session and do a little bit of overall prioritization that'll help focus kind of over the course of the next year, things that we're putting our focus on and prioritizing as staff.
Budgetary goals, or what are we talking
No,
about?
general goals. So for example, one of the things that came up over the course this year was the commission really wanted to focus on parks and playground maintenance stuff, right? So if we know that now, again, within the scope of the budget which we produced, that's something that we can put priority on. I can work with staff and be presenting that. So those types of goals, again, within the budget that we already set. I think this year will be a bit of an oddball because we already have a budget. Ideally, what we want to see is these priorities out early and we can shape them into the budget going forward and work with staff. And that'll be the goal for 26-27, but in an interim period like this, we're looking at some goals to help address that. So that was one item. Next item, I wanted to just give an update on St. Joseph Street schedule. We talked with contractor, Barry presented. They're on track to have everything wrapped up or at least substantial completion by the end of October. So I think final paving deadline or timeline was like October 22nd, they would begin that. So working to do that. We're on track. Hopefully we're able to stay on track with weather and other things for that, but right now that's where we're scheduled there. Wanted to note brush pickup underway this week. That's been moving along at a pretty rapid clip. We do have leaf pickup scheduled for the 3rd week in October. We expect that given the condition of the trees, it's going to be light to start with, but we'll be working to continue to go out and do leaf pickup as best we can. So throughout the through the season. So it's going to be an interesting one, but staff's aware and is working to kind of schedule forces so that we're not overcommitting forces early, but still giving ourselves the ability to get all the leaves collected as necessary.
Andrew, I thought you were going to refer to the dry conditions. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had a decent amount of leaves down just because
I got 'em
they've
down
dried
too.
and crinkled off the tree.
All right,
I've got a lot down.
That's good news, I guess. I know we're still seeing a lot of trees that have retained green leaves that haven't dropped yet. So
Just the oaks that are keeping the greens.
I was just gonna ask if you wanted to push it back to start, but
Yes,
doesn't
that
sound like.
well, and
That's
that was something that we talked about. My discussion with Tom was more. I don't want to like throw people off and hey, we publicized it starting now. Now it's back a week. we'll probably be looking at that first pass through town as a little bit lighter, a little bit, you know, if indeed there aren't a ton of leaves out there, we'll just kind of marshal our resources in that way. So. Lafayette Street, again, I think we put out some posts. They're hoping to get work going this week. I know we were still waiting for some definitive schedules for people, but they have the shoulder work. They believe it'll be a couple of days once they get started out there. So I think that some of the crews that were expected to do that work, working on other projects in towns, I think they wrapped that up today, so we're hoping we see them out there as soon as tomorrow. But it's, again, one of those contractor schedule things that sometimes they tell us, get ready for Monday, and then it's not till Thursday that they're actually there. So, but wanted to give you an update on that. Michigan Street Lift Station, I don't think there's too much change here, but as far as an update, targeting end of November for substantial completion on that project, expecting road to be reopened by end of October. Waiting on control panel, I think, was the long lead time item the last time we got an update. There was some concern that they were going to be out beyond what their original projection was. Tom and the engineers were able to bring that back more in line with what their original date was in terms of when they were going to deliver it. But we're still waiting on that one last piece of equipment. So that'll be the driver that pushes us into November on that project. Other than that, wanted to update, I had gotten a letter from the Domestic and Sexual Abuse Services Organization. Many know it as DASAS. They're holding a candlelight vigil to honor and remember the lives taken by domestic violence in St. Joseph County and beyond on Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. So that was addressed to community leaders. I know they mentioned myself and the mayor, but I wanted to make commission aware in case you had interest in attending. Again, that's October 21st, 2025, 7 p.m. at Sturgis High School. So wanted to give you awareness of that. Also wanted to mention it's Public Power Week this week. We had our coloring contest. If you venture into City Hall during business hours, you see all the kids who did coloring and participated in that coloring contest. That was a very nice program that we were able to participate in this year. As a matter of fact, was able to award the winner today, and a very nice young lady who put her picture put her picture out there. She was very excited to be selected. So we had put them all up and then offered judging to city staff, and she was very pleased to be selected. So we were excited to do that. That was a fun project. Julie in my office did a lot of the coordination for it, which was really nice. But we'll be looking to do that one again because that was a lot of fun for the kids and for us. So again, that's in celebration of Public Power Week. Also wanted to mention we have the cleanup day, the Sturgis Neighborhood Program Cleanup Day coming up this Saturday. We also have styrofoam recycling this Saturday, so get yourself ready. Hit up both spots. I know Commissioner Harrington and I will be working both events. We're gonna help out at the cleanup day in the morning, and then go in the afternoon and do some styrofoam recycling collection.
Well, the rest of the morning.
Yeah, well, right, fair enough. Rest of the morning, but the second shift, I guess, on the styrofoam recycling. So, so those projects are out there. They've been put out on city website, city Facebook page. So if you have any interest, make sure you stop by and participate in those. And then finally, just a reminder, we do have closed session next week.
Thank you, Andrew. Commissioner Harrington?
I have a question. If anybody knows the answer, somebody must. And I think we may have discussed it. Out by the city building on Progress, what are we drilling for?
So that was the well. That was, if you recall,
New well
we came
testing?
The testing wells.
Okay, that's what I couldn't. I
we
thought it was
came,
one of those, but yeah.
I'll say 2 meetings ago.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember if we were looking for.
Was the last meeting?
2 meetings ago.
2 meetings ago. Yeah.
We just had to test. It's just a tester.
Yeah, and it's not us doing the testing. It's
Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Somebody asked me, and I thought I'm pretty sure we talked about it, but I couldn't remember exactly. I knew what it was. It was not a natural gas well.
That's correct.
Oil well or anything like that. I had that hard to get. But thank you. That's what I knew. That's it.
That's it, okay. Commissioner Ernst,
Nothing, thank you.
Commissioner Wiki,
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Mullins, welcome back.
Thank you.
Hope you had a great
Oh,
time.
congratulations.
Had a great time, yeah.
And like Aaron said, you didn't change your name, huh?
I did not change my name. Maybe the next time.
Well, welcome back.
No, there won't be a next time, I can guarantee you that.
Why, I thought I heard you correctly, but I'm like, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Nobody.
Remember, these meetings are streaming now, Commissioner Mullins, so you'll.
That's the way I roll.
That's going by.
It was a marvelous day and a fantastic honeymoon. And I'm glad to be back in some ways, but in most ways I'm not. So, I found this while I was on vacation, scrolling through some things, and it just basically said, no matter how educated, talented, religious, rich, cool, you believe you are, how you treat people ultimately tells all. Integrity is everything. So let's, it's just a reminder to just be kind to one another.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller?
Well, Commissioner Wiki was thinking it, but I'll say it, just got to highlight the hottest team in football right now, Go Lions. With no disrespect to the mayor or whatever team he might root for.
Cowboys, baby, Cowboys. Commissioner Smith?
Well, tomorrow's the day after my own heart, International Beer and Pizza Day. And last week I went through and I rewatched the meeting that we had on the YouTube, just to refresh the hour and a half long discussion we had on recycle. Is there any way we can change that? I don't need to look at the big picture of the schedule. I want to see me. We're in teeny tiny, the commission thing is a teeny tiny little thing in the corner with the big agenda. Let's swap that up.
Do we get to vote on that?
Okay.
Or at least the split
The only thing I would say is that the idea, just like you guys have the document up in front of you, and usually I've got to make it a lot bigger so that people can read it. You got a bid tab that nobody can read anything. It would be the same as online. So if we're talking about a document,
Zoom that out when you want to see the agenda.
potentially, yeah. Yeah, well, I guess I would want to understand what the whole, so right now, what you have, and you can, it's online, it's on our website, you can go look at it. You guys are just in the corner. It's just a small thing
Like
for
a
that.
postage stamp.
It is a postage stamp, yeah. I'm not saying it's not bigger. We emphasize the document that we're discussing as opposed to you, so let us know.
Do you know how many views you get on those?
I think we can see, and
We can.
I'm counted as some of that as I'm checking it, making sure I turned off live chat, but we'll check that out. I don't know right now, but we can look at it.
I had Mrs. Miller testing out for our trial run, and she said there were 3 other people watching at the time when she was watching.
Yeah.
But they can
Big
watch
time.
anytime during.
Watch
You can watch it,
anytime.
yeah.
Until a new one, so who knows, yeah.
Big time, big time. Yeah, and I'm just wondering how many other people complain about not being able to see what's going on in the room, I guess is my question. If there has been any feedback at all, nothing like that? Okay. Well, I just want to see me. Well, I'm just curious about if anybody.
Right now, I think we've got one live viewer,
I figured
All I
that
can
one.
and that might be me.
on that postage stamp with my shiny, shiny, shiny head.
That's a beautiful head you got there, by the way.
I know, but it is shiny. Takes a long time to get it polished up like that.
Well, then you're drawing most attention to the postage stamp. It sounds
So
like.
I'm not getting a lot of feedback to go ahead and make that change.
Okay, all right,
I think it's,
You let me know.
I hear what you're saying, but they can come here if they want to see the action in person, and the agenda for, I guess, what's the context of what I'm listening to right now? The agenda really provides that.
Yeah.
Because it's not only the agenda, it's the agenda or any
Or anything that's
attachments
on
that's
the-
on.
Right.
That's what I
Yeah,
guess
what you see on the
whatever's up-
screen, the only thing you don't see is you. So in the corner, in the bottom right-hand corner is you on the YouTube. So what you're seeing on that screen is what people are seeing on, out there.
And really, the most important part about the meeting is the audio.
I haven't, I will admit, I did not look at the rest of the meeting. I just watched the first part over. And so I didn't see anything but the agenda up there, but in that particular meeting, there wouldn't have been.
Right, and certainly for the recycling discussion, there's not, I had the draft ordinance up, but when you're just having a general discussion. So, again, what you see there, that's what the public's seeing.
Great.
Okay, that makes a difference.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Vice Mayor Byrd? All right. Be my turn. I'm gonna hand out, the, goals for Andrew, so that we can do, an evaluation. You will see that it's still the evaluation that was in existence, a couple years ago when I took over. Andrew and I do have a new one set up. I didn't want to present that to you tonight because I don't want to confuse you. But these are his goals. He's going to give us a goal update next week, or for the next meeting. And if you would send me the evaluation, I'm going to send it to you electronically, so that you can send it back to me. I'll compile it and then I'll share it next week. I have been talking to Andrew about wanting to get to a point where, and he brought it up in his comments about starting to set up goals and objectives for Andrew in the budget process, so that when we affirm our budget, it has the goals already included. And one of the things that I want to get to a point, and hopefully it becomes in our commission procedure policy, is that, going back to what Commissioner Abs has been saying all along since she's been on, is that we got to do better. We got to be one. We got to have one voice. And what I envision in this process is to have goals and objectives for Andrew for like the first, the current year, a 5-year goals, 10-year goals, just to see where we want to be. Like, we're going to tackle the parks this year. I know some of you want pickleball courts. I know the general public wants pickleball courts. Trails, let's start laying out some foundations so that Andrew has vision to work toward. Not basically telling him how to do it, but this is what we want based on what we're hearing from the community. So we get those goals in the budget process with the intention of, in the reset meeting in November, we give out the goals and objectives with the current evaluation to all those, all to the commission at the time. And that way it's set up so that if people don't run or they don't seek reelection, everyone coming in will get the goals and objectives. And in that time period, given that we have our goals, the budget, Andrew can present a what was that, Doc? Blank.
Business plan.
The
So,
business plan,
I
a business
think-
plan,
Yeah.
so that we all know what we're working toward. I think right now it's a little unfair for Andrew, where he's getting hit from 9 different people, and I'm not picking on anyone, but Commissioner Miller might think this is important. Commissioner Wiki might think this is important, but we're giving Andrew 9 different directions. He's trying to make us all happy, and he won't be able to make all of us happy, but just so that we are all on the same page, if you have an idea, well, here's the plan that we give out in November. This is what we're working toward. This is the business plan that gets reset once a year based on our discussions and goals with Andrew during the budget process, so that we're all uniform and can actually be one voice. That's the thought.
And I guess I want to clarify exactly what the mayor said. I think the important thing to know is that the goals and objectives, I mean, they're ultimately my goals and objectives because I'm the one implementing the vision of the commission, but they're really the commission's goals and objectives for the organization and the things that you want us to work on. From there, I'm able to take those and give you a plan about how I see those goals being achieved or work towards being achieved in whatever budget year we're working on, and then we're able to implement those things. So you may say, we want pickleball courts, Andrew, or maybe broader than that, and you may say, we want new placemaking projects put into place, Andrew. That's something we want the organization to work on. It's then my job to say, okay, in this year, here's how we're gonna start that process of getting us to that goal. Whether that's, we're gonna do some community surveys and see what project comes next. We're gonna get some budget numbers and make sure that we have it in our 6-year plan. We're going to, we've now progressed along and we're gonna be doing design. That may be the goal that year. It doesn't mean, hey, we want pickleball courts. Next year,
Tomorrow
we're getting pickleball courts. I have to be able to tell you how we get there, right? And
Yes.
show that vision to you too. So for this year, it's gonna be kind of a test run. That's part of what I introduced is, let's get some general goals based on the budget we already have in place. We'll work on that, kind of fill that interim year, but know that at the start of our budget process for next fiscal year, we're gonna be doing this again. So we may do it now, but we'll probably do it again in March or April with an eye towards the next fiscal year, and then be able to shape the budget around those things as well. So a little bit more clarification.
Yeah, I think by having a business plan, I think it allows us as a board of 9 to speak as one and say, this is our plan. I mean, we're not, I'm sure things are gonna come up, but this is our plan, and say we have a reset in November, 2 or 3 of us don't run, or there's somebody else that takes our spot through the election process. We already have the plan in place. It'll take a process to change some of those goals and objectives, but at least we have a plan, we have a vision, and Andrew and staff is working toward it.
If we need further clarifying, I think Brandon should be in charge of that.
As long as it's not clarifier number 2, then I have to put it through.
Scum
Any number scum
baffle.
But anyways, if you could, I'll email you the evaluation, hopefully tomorrow. I do gotta head out of town this weekend, but I'm gonna get it out to you tomorrow. Send it back to me, I'll put it together, and I'm assuming at the next meeting, I'll send you, well, first I'm gonna send the revised evaluation to TJ so you can look it over. And then once TJ approves it, at the next meeting, I plan to give it to you since I already have the current evaluation back, so I don't confuse you. And then you'll have it for reference. Yeah.
Needs a due date though.
Yeah, the current review that I gave you tonight with his goals, I'm gonna email it to you, and hopefully I can get it back by the 17th of October.
I thought you said that.
The
The
17th, which is,
goals would be the end.
the goals would be at the next meeting, but start thinking about it. But the eval, if I can get it back by the 17th.
Friday next week.
Yeah, Friday of next week. And then at the next meeting, we'll probably set a date for like October 30th to get the goals back from you so we can put it together.
I can't remember how we did it in the past. Should we send these to you individually and CC
Yeah.
TJ, or
I would
Send
send
them
them
to
to
me.
Frank, the mayor originally, and then he can look and then he'll forward them to me. That way we're not multi-thing. That way there's one conduit, goes in into me, and then I'll get them back.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is what I did last year. Once I got the data, when you were the vice mayor, we'll review, meet with TJ ahead of time. And then he'll get all the copies. He'll have all the copies like we gave him last year.
And that worked well.
That's the plan.
That worked well coming
yeah.
through you to me and then back.
Yeah. And I think you gave them to Andrew.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
went through that.
Yes.
I have a suggestion for us to consider, maybe not for right now, but for the March, that we consider measuring ourselves.
We can.
I'm just throwing it out there, something to think about.
Yeah.
As a group. I've been on boards that do that, and I've had a board do that.
I'm open to that.
When you email that to us, and I'm gonna need some help because I couldn't figure it out last year.
Well,
I couldn't
just
do
fill
it
this
either.
one out. If you fill this out, you call me, I'll come pick it up, or I'll meet
Okay.
you somewhere. Just fill it out and give it to me. I can scan it in and have it. So Linda and Mark, you're gonna give that to me?
Yeah,
I mean,
Okay.
however you sent it, there was no way I could fill it in. Yeah,
I'm with her.
Okay.
I like the kind where I can sit down at the keyboard and type in whatever I want to type in on forms, but I don't know.
City staff, whoever, does somebody have access to Adobe Professional to make it fillable? Yeah,
Well,
we do. We could take one version, make it fillable for all time, and then we have
I
it.
have that.
I was
I
gonna
don't know
say,
if I can get it
think
out
we
tomorrow,
made it
though.
Make it
fillable. I
fillable.
know
I don't know if I have time
in
tomorrow.
the
to do
distant
that.
past, we had a different setup that allowed us to do it electronically, but
Right.
the problem is, I was the one who coordinated all that, and I don't know if anybody else would know how
Where's the
system
assistant city
works.
manager?
That was actually, I was gonna jump in and ask, just like when we're talking about assessing our city manager, he's doing a whole lot by himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does not have an assistant
110%.
city manager. He's got too much on his plate,
Yes.
and we need to do
Agreed.
something about that.
Agreed.
I agree with all that, but whose fault is it that he doesn't have one?
The general public's,
It's
because,
the guy that's doing the hiring.
well,
Oh, he can't,
do you-
he can't find a.
can you,
qualified candidate yet.
I mean, you gave us an update once upon a time. We put out a posting.
Several by now.
I mean, we've had it out for quite a while, right? I don't want to speak for you, but
We did.
we struck out essentially,
I
right?
think we're on the third one now.
We're
if I
still
remember.
working at it. Still working.
I mean, I can't fault Andrew for what he can't go squeeze out of the outside world.
He's working on it though, so eval's due back October 17th. Any questions on what I hope I have, I hope we have consensus on trying to get aligned and trying to have a process. And trying to have a process for Andrew so that he knows what our plan is, so that he doesn't have 9 different people saying, well, this is my plan, this is my plan. That way, him and city staff can just work toward whatever the commission asks once a year regarding the yearly goals and the 5-10-year goals. Everybody good with that? Okay. Other than that, I think we're done with commissioner and staff comments, and we will need a roll call vote to go into closed session.
I need a motion.
I move we go into closed session for the purpose of purchase of property.
Potential purchase of
So we
property.
have a motion. and a
Potential
second.
purchase.
All in favor?
Potential.
All right.
Roll call, never mind, sorry.
Yep, that's all right. Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Commissioner Boring, Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrington,
Yes?
Commissioner Abs,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burr.
Yes.
And Mayor Perez.
Yes.
We are in closed session.